On today is one of the people that I look up to personally, and it's Partha De Sarkar from HGS. Welcome, Partha. How are you?
Thank you. Lovely day.
It's a lovely day indeed. And you know, Partha has built a $600 million company. He handles 44,000 employees. And what, you've got 400 million people that you've served per year, right?
400 million transactions.
Transactions.
Yeah,
Wow,
yeah,
that's amazing.
right. Yeah.
What are we going to be talking about? HGS is a modern day digital BPO. They convert data into information and insights. And Partha is going to also talk about leadership in a digital age. What is this data being converted into information insights? Everyone talks data today.
Yeah. So if you look at it, if I talk about the 400 million transactions that we do, there's a lot of information that we gather. And if you look at the genesis of BPO, and I want to go back to where we once started, let's say around 2000 to 2010, I think we were being very reactive and just responding to customer queries.
Correct.
And that's how we got this epithet of a call center and all of that, right? Behind all those interactions are human emotions.
Completely agree.
Somebody aggrieved, somebody angry, somebody happy, and all of that. And behind all of that is how the experience has been in their interaction with the client that we serve, which is the brand that we serve. So behind everything is a brand, right? So the wealth of information that the brand can capture based on analysis of these interactions is not something that we have gone back with before.
Okay.
And that's the attempt now. You've got these transaction sets. Through a lot of technology which wasn't available before but is available today, which is, let's say, text analytics or speech analytics. It's not just word cloud. Word cloud just, the most frequently used words, but behind that there's a lot that can be done which can provide insights to the company to custom make offers to upsell, right? So apart from profiling the customer, you also are able to therefore very customize the offers that you make to somebody who's calling in.
Right? Give me an example of a client that you work with. You work with telcos, right?
Yeah.
You want to give me an example of how they use your data, how you convert their data into insights?
Okay. All right. So let's talk about some hospitals.
Yes,
Okay.
please. Oh, you're also into healthcare.
Yeah, we are also into healthcare. So let's say so these are all in Indian language. This is basically, these hospitals provide cashless treatment, which means they treat the patient and then they send the bill to the patient's insurance company to get paid.
Yes.
Now you will be surprised how often they don't get paid. That's because the claim is denied by the insurance company. And why is it denied? It's denied because of a technical flaw. It's denied because you did not submit a particular document, you did not submit a piece of information, and all of that. Now that means that the hospital is actually out of money. They've provided the treatment. The patient's gone away. They're expecting to be getting paid. They're not getting paid.
Okay.
And that number can literally run into millions of dollars. Okay. And many of the hospitals actually are not for profit. So for them, it's a cash flow issue. Now, what we can do with the data that pertains to this denial is we can tell them that this is the pattern because of which your claims are getting denied.
And they usually happen because of staff-related problems, because the staff has not asked certain documents from...
you can categorize them into this people process technology.
Yes.
Those are the three common things that we do. So one is people, which is what you just said, some mistakes that they did. Something about technology, something in the backend that doesn't work, which is a file format mismatch, because of which you uploaded the information but it didn't reach the insurance player. So that's a technology issue. Process, a part of your process didn't ask for the particular information, which is vital for the insurance company to pay, right? So if you break that down into people process technology, you would be able to tell as to what is the reason that your claims are getting denied.
Okay, and you can improve upon the data. What is the loss because of this?
It can be significant.
Billions?
Oh yeah, absolutely. So typically what we will do is the hospital will come to us saying that, listen, we have not been able to collect $50 million of claims. That's not a small number.
That's not a small number.
The largest number that I remember, and this I'm going back quite a few years, is that from a particular hospital chain in the US, we had receivables that they were on the verge of writing off of about $170 million. And when we returned it to them, we had collected about 60 to 70% of that. And that was all procedural, that was all things that they should have been able to collect, but they just did not have the staff or the wherewithal or the analytics behind it to make sure that they are... So when you get thousands of records, millions of records of claims that you have not got paid, which do you attack most? you use analytics to figure out that these are the claims that will get paid quickly because the fix is a quick fix.
Correct.
So you go and attack that.
All this is done real time?
Real time in a sense, you have to do the analysis first. You run it through your analytical engine, which basically identifies that these are the claims that are likely to get paid, would require least effort, and therefore you go after it first. The analytics will tell you that this bunch of claims will never get paid.
Okay.
So don't even try it. Don't even call the hospital. Don't write nothing. You can just say.
So how better are we? I mean, say 15 years ago, if you bucket data, you say if the claims period was 70 days in the old days, has it been reduced to a few weeks today?
Yeah, it would no. Because so if you look at it this way, for that particular line of business, we are able to now give them a recoverability of as high as 50 to 60% of claims that they would have otherwise written off. Right?
And yours is a very intelligent process. You're saying marry the best of technology with the best of people talent.
Correct.
And that's been your thought process all along, right?
Yes.
You know, there are these words like AI, machine learning thrown at us and saying that AI will now make decisions. It's making people irrelevant in organizations such as yours. But you would disagree. So you can combine the two yourself.
Yes,
right?
yes.
How would you do that?
Yeah, so see, AI is a big field. Okay, AI is a big field. And you know, as over time, technology and its applicability has evolved, right? I would say that this is the age of data scientists, data sciences.
Okay.
And the wealth of information that we collect of customer transactions create new opportunities for people. I would say that if people are looking for newer careers and they have engineering backgrounds and other than that, they should look at data sciences to be something that is of great attraction going forward.
So if somebody comes and works for you,
Yeah.
I mean, compared to the previous decade, would need to have a knowledge of data sciences today?
I think the opportunity areas of data science is massive because that's a new frontier. That's a new, all that you said, machine learning, AI and all of that
It's
would
the truth.
require people with, earlier when we were growing up, this used to have an innocuous name as statistics.
Yes, I agree.
You could do B-stat, you could do M-stat, and it really did not have a lot of value in those days.
Yes.
Right now, that's a complete hot skill.
Thanks to technologies, right?
Yes.
Because of the internet, basically.
Yes, and basically because of some of the languages that have come out, right? If you look at R, if you look at Python, if you look at Octave, that gives you the capability to churn,
Scale up.
and the computing power, the increase in computing power. At some point of time, it was impossible to crunch all the data and give you something actionable in the seconds that it can do right now. But now it is possible, right?
You know, very fascinating point. You know, data is moving so fast, it's churned so fast. You as a leader in this, you know, in a digital era, how do you convince your shareholders that this is not science fiction, that this is something that we have to go after? When you started realigning your organizations to these processes, did you have trouble? Would you want to give us some insight into how do you handle these things as a leader? You know, you have to you answer to shareholders, public shareholders.
Right.
I mean, you answer to promoters.
Right.
And you also have to answer to clients.
Right.
You know, how do you tell all these people that the journey is with data, and we are going to have a plan? You know, it's almost like saying that I'm going to move. So, I mean, I'm going to experiment within this organization and then make it grow. Did you have that problem?
Yeah. No, you will be surprised how it resonates with people. Okay, because brands have actually lagged behind in their understanding of what technology can do.
I completely agree.
Right.
So you're saying corporates are not the leaders in the first place to come and say, hey, I want to look at data.
If you look at the guys who are in the technology field, they're clearly making it possible, right?
Amazon, Google's are.
Yeah, they are making it possible.
I agree.
But the guys who are actually in the conventional spaces, they are still trying to figure out what does omnichannel mean.
Yeah,
what does Instagram, WhatsApp, Facebook Messenger, all of that mean?
And
how do I react to a post which is adverse, made somewhere in some part of the world, which will impact my brand reputation as we speak, right? So for them, they are in a zone of terror right now.
Yeah.
Somebody will say something. There was a particular brand which is into diapers, whom we service. A mother posted that it had glass.
And on Twitter?
I'm forgetting
which
channel it was.
In some social channel
she posted that she found glass in the diaper. Can you imagine broken glass in the diaper?
That could destroy the stock price overnight.
And we had so much of adverse fallout that it was do or die for the brand.
Okay. How did you manage it?
So we put people behind it. Okay, and we alerted the clients. So we work very closely with the clients, and this is something that can be potentially extremely damaging. And we manage it. And that happens all the time. Frankly, you'll be surprised how often that happens. And therefore, from a client perspective, they are looking for help. You've only answered our calls so far. Can you tell us how do we handle this thing which is online 24 hours anywhere in the world?
And it's on everywhere.
On everywhere. So clients, it's easy. Frankly, you'll be surprised how easy it is. When it comes to shareholders, you will be surprised how easy it is, because they themselves are consumers of information and technology, right? So they get it as to how things have moved from what it was to what it is today. They understand that the next opportunity area is not driven by labor arbitrage. It's driven by knowledge arbitrage. Who gets it faster than the others, and who can pitch it quicker to your client. And that's a complete knowledge play. So that's the evolution of the Indian BPO from being labor arbitrage provider to knowledge arbitrage providers. Because here in India and Philippines and some of the other places, we can employ highly educated workforce, PhDs, who can do the research that is unthinkable at a price point which the Western world can't even think. And that's where the deep analytics and all of this come out, right?
So it's going to be a people-machine combination.
Yes, yes.
Okay, and do promoters get it also? Or
yeah, of course.
Promoters do get it, right?
Yeah.
But would you advise people, a lot of our audience is young startups who are experimenting.
Yeah.
How do they convince CEOs like you that the products that they're building are valuable?
This is an interesting place because a lot of, we have been in the service space.
Yeah.
So I would hesitate to get into the product space. But I know...
You told me last time.
Yeah, yes. I would hesitate to get into product space because that's a different ballgame. The shareholder expectations are different and the amount of money that can be put into the product space is something that I can't afford to put in. Knowing that my shareholders... I have platforms, right? I build platforms. So now what I find is a lot of customer interaction space, there's a lot of interesting products that are available that have been built by small startups. Now where... is this symbiotic? It is symbiotic in a space that, one, I have the capital, I have the access to the market. They have the technology, right? They may not necessarily have the capital, they may not necessarily have the access to the market. So it's a very symbiotic relationship. If I can take their technology to my clients and therefore I give them market reach, if I believe that their product needs some features to be added, I can provide capital. So that's where I think it's a happy marriage between a product company and a services company. Because product companies typically would not want to spend a lot of time in customizing their product.
I agree. And they don't necessarily have the scale also, right?
See, they are a product company, so they will build something which is shrink wrapped. Right? You open you unbox it and that it's on.
That's it. Yeah.
But what happens is when you have to implement that in a client environment, it will require you to customize it. And that's not something that they are interested in doing. So that's where we come in. So we, from a conventional BPO space, we are almost becoming mini systems integrators who can take this new technology out in the customer digital customer experience transformation space and say that, okay, this is this new technology that is available.
So how many startups have you worked with? Or how many small companies do you work with? Do you interact with them on a regular basis?
Lots. One is for our internal consumption. So yesterday itself we were talking about a particular technology which is into smart infrastructure management. So we literally have 50,000 seats. Now 50,000 seats earlier was 50,000 into 8. Now you have to think it as 50,000 into 24.
Yes.
Right? And every seat has a cost.
It means 24 hours in cycle.
Correct. Yeah. So how do you do hot desking? How do you know in which building which seat is going to be available?
Yes.
And therefore you don't have to build offices because you already have space. Yeah. Right. So if you Uberize a seat, you can block a seat saying that, hey, this seat in this building is available and this is where you have to go.
That's the digital era, right? You were absolutely right. I don't know if the startup is the same thing that we're talking about. They heat map the entire place and realize where people are, right?
Yes.
Okay. I think they're coming in next. What a funny coincidence. But that's the future.
Yeah.
So so when people pitch to you, what are you looking for? Simple lines. It has to add value to what you're building already.
That's right.
They have to understand what AGS is doing.
That's right.
Right.
That's right.
Are you happy about the startup world and what it has achieved in India vis-a-vis US? You travel a lot. What do you think about where's the world heading? Symbiotic relationships, co-creative partnerships?
Completely.
Or large
Those are
companies?
Exactly the words that I use all along. I think you will see an era of what I would call cooperation as opposed to competition.
Okay.
Because I think we will find guys who are experts. I think we've gone beyond a point where people are saying we're jack of all trades. I think going to see people who, going back to the stage, we are expert in these fields. The customer solution can be this. I'm good at this. Earlier, the approach was I will start to learn to do the whole thing.
Yes.
I think we are coming back to a point saying that, listen, this is what I really do well. And I don't do this very well.
Okay.
And I won't even try to do it well because I will never be world class. I'm going to bring in a partner who does this world class.
Okay.
So therefore, you have a world class
So it's like micro corporations.
ecosystem. No, it's actually there in other engineering fields. If you look at construction, if you look at construction, in civil engineering, they do consortiums, right?
Yes.
Somebody does design, somebody does build, somebody does something else. So this has been there in other industries for a long time.
Very interesting. Do you see data consortiums come by? I mean, with multiple people taking ownership of the data.
Yeah. Right now, it's more in the form of subcontracting.
Yes,
Somebody will be priming it, and somebody will be subcontracting it. So I think those are the days that are going to evolve a lot more. So my prediction, 10 years from now, people who've tried to become jack of all trades will try to get back to specialization and to the core competency. The core competency word is still important. It may be an old word, but it's still important.
I hope you guys are listening. So core competence is important.
Yeah,
so.
it is important.
Okay.
You cannot, I think, do a good job of becoming a jack of all trades.
Did you over your career reinvent yourself several times? You constantly reading also, and you said you use the flight's internet to actually get work done, right? So what are you studying, or what are you trying to understand these days that we can give insight to some of our audience to get on to also?
Yeah. See, I studied as an engineer.
Okay.
I did my master's in engineering.
Okay.
And then
Are
I
they
moved to
relevant
management.
today?
Well, they're relevant to the extent that I still believe that Six Sigma is one of the coolest tools, right?
Okay.
And it's a very logical way to look at problem solving. So I use my analytical mind whenever I look at a business problem. And it's not a problem of this not fitting that, or from solving why a brake doesn't brake properly to why does a process make noise. The methodology that you use, Lean and Six Sigma, all of that, the core foundations are the same, and it requires a very logical mind of data analysis and all that. So that's the only piece of engineering that I frankly use.
So you're saying everybody should strive towards building a logical mind. Construct your thoughts. I mean, a lot of young graduates are walking out there. I mean, today you're saying
I wouldn't say
core
that.
competency is also
Core
about
competency
this,
is important, but I don't think everybody should be analytics because that's where I think the good marriage between a creative mind and an analytical mind becomes important.
Okay.
Because that's where I find.
Give me an example.
I'll give you my example of my boss.
Please. Yes,
He's
please.
extremely creative.
Okay.
He's extremely creative.
All right.
I mean, he finds possibilities that I do not see.
Okay.
Then him and me talk.
Business.
He goes, why do we not do this? Why
Okay.
do we not do this? And I keep thinking, okay, I never thought about that.
So give me an insight. What when you say do this, do that? Give me an insight. What would something strike your mind today? Will it be business, or would it be in a particular way of managing things?
So he was the first person who came and said, can you make it a BPO in a box?
Okay.
So all that you do today is basically some very smart processes. Can you standardize it to a level that you take it to a country which is not good in BPO?
Say let's go Poland. Something like that.
Poland is good in BPO.
Okay.
So let's take a country in Africa. Let's say you take a BPO in a box. You have a businessman out here who's got the money and wants to get into this line of business, but he doesn't have the know-how. Can you provide the know-how?
Okay.
So he basically gives me an example of, let's say, hotels.
Okay.
Hotels, right? If you look at hotels, people operate hotels are not the guys who own the property.
Yes,
right?
I think that's what the Marriott model is also.
Exactly. There are other models also like that. Other hotels
Yes.
who are basically bringing in management expertise, tools and technologies to essentially almost
partner.
like to a local partner, right? So that was his idea, doing a BPO box, right? Worked on it. It's not a simple idea to
I agree
do,
because the partner has to follow all the SOPs.
Correct.
He has absolute line of service. Should be
Exactly.
brilliant.
Exactly.
But that's the difficult part.
That's why I've not been very successful. But that's a great idea that I thought.
It is a great idea even today.
Okay.
I mean, can you achieve it with digital technologies though?
And that's the bit that makes it easier. But it's still a long way to go because at the end of the day, they still have.
Is it a cultural thing?
No, it's
at the end of the day,
you still have people at the end of a transaction, right? However, the more you automate it, becomes probably easier to do. But you will still have people, and that's where when you move cross culture, there are other things that come in.
Okay.
There are geographical issues that come in, geopolitical risks come in, currency risks coming, and all of that kind of thing. So hot destinations already don't have a need for BPO box.
Okay.
Where would you need BPO in a box? These are destinations that are trying to pitch into this bandwagon, saying that okay, if India can do it, if Philippines can do it, why not us?
Give me one insight into your idea that you're thinking that will be big in a few years. One, maybe blockchain. I'm saying blockchain.
Yeah.
What things make, what do you think makes big business in the future?
I would say IoT is probably the next big thing.
Why so?
I'll give you an example.
Yes, please.
And I think that will make it clear. So let's say heart rate monitors. Okay. You have machines.
Yeah, today we have got sensors in our body
Right.
sometimes.
So
yes.
you've got it out around your neck and you're wearing
Right.
it 24 hours,
Wristband.
month on this thing and all of that, right? And why are you doing that? Because your doctor is diagnosed that there is an irregularity in your heartbeat. Okay. And that's why you're wearing it, right?
Yes.
Now, somewhere in the world, that data is getting read and is getting tracked. And so long as the beats are in the range that the doctor thinks is okay, it's fine.
Okay.
But when it goes out of range, there's somebody somewhere creating an alert
Agreed.
and going back in a different time frame altogether and say that, hey, you have a patient out there,
Yes.
you need to go and intervene. There's something that's happening.
Would
that
that be a
we're seeing.
machine doing it?
It would be a machine, but at some point of time, you'll have to say that just an alert may not work. So it would have rung the phone,
Okay.
but it would have probably just been a beep.
How many of your clients are doing this?
Oh, this is something that is new, cutting edge, absolutely, right? We do have clients in the medical equipment field, but I think IoT and that can transform healthcare, telemedicine and all of that. So those are new opportunities because I wanted to give that as an example
flavor.
of what IoT can do.
Okay. And what
Right.
about blockchain, sir?
Blockchain is something that is still coming. I think it makes a lot of sense, and I think there's a huge and easy applicability in the supply
On the
chain.
smart
because-
contract side.
Yeah, on the supply chain side. Frankly, I have to say that we are yet to explore blockchain. We've just started explorations on blockchain, what we can do with it, but that again can create massive opportunities.
You know, shall we take some audience questions and
Okay.
come back? Okay.
All right.
Okay, there's somebody called Ramesh. He's got a 3-part question. He says, Partha, sir, content and data is a kind. He says, literally the economic word kind, obviously. How important is this for the Indian market? Is the first question.
Extremely important. Everything applies,
Aadhaar is
right?
data, right?
Yeah.
So how do you think we can use it?
Well, I will
From
not
an Indian
specifically.
context,
I will not
how could we use it?
So I'll give you an example of an example of retailers, right? Once you buy something, how do you get the data which tells you people who have bought this have also bought this? If you're buying this, do you want to bundle it and see that whether this works? This whole thing about the recommendation platform. That if you have like this, you're most likely to like this. There's a lot of research that has gone behind, which has created association between buying this product and that product.
Right.
So that's data. That's completely data and analysis and
And
research.
that's where to stay.
And
right?
that is what is pushing the recommendation system to give you that. Right. That's just one example.
Okay. Why have enterprises not done a good job as Amazon or Google in terms of tracking customers? You know, a lot of people must be coming onto websites of enterprises, right?
Yes.
That is data.
Right.
The PNG, no, not the PNG, again, that's my fault. We're talking about the diapers example.
Yeah.
Wouldn't organizations track it themselves also?
Yeah, they would, but they don't have the capability to respond 24/7.
They can't?
And it may be
It
extremely
can happen anywhere,
expansive.
geography, yes.
Yeah, 24/7 worldwide, it can happen anywhere, right?
So that's why they work with, and the machines of today are smart enough to pick these up. How do they understand the text, that it's negative or positive, that somebody is paying
You can teach a machine. You can teach a machine
Okay.
that this word cloud means this is a negative sentiment.
Okay.
In fact, in speech analytics, you can actually teach the machine that if the tonality of the voice is at this level, it's likely to be an escalation.
So you're building them as algorithms, is
Yeah.
it? So therefore the PhDs. How many PhDs do you employ, for example? Many? Hundreds?
No. I will not say, no, we don't have hundreds.
But you've got
we have
PhDs.
about 50s, yeah.
But they do set up all these models for the
We
engineers.
have, actually, if it's of an interest, we probably employ 1,500 nurses, which is bigger than many hospitals. Right?
Interesting. Okay. How important is a social platform for content management?
That's the new world.
That's you can't escape
Absolutely.
that
There's
again.
absolutely no way you're going away from that.
Okay. The next question. Data is the king, but this is a very confusing question. What's stored for Indian market? Okay. What do the Hindujas, the promoters, think about data as the new oil?
Of course. They are very interested in what we do. And, that's why They backed me completely in our journey to move from BPO 1.0 to 2.0, which is around that, what I just told you, data information insights. Yeah, so that they're behind it completely.
And would you treat this as a separate center? I mean, is there investments going into only data sciences as a separate subject?
There are a lot of things that are happening.
Okay.
So data is just one part of it.
Okay.
The other part of it is working on this whole startup ecosystem to see what products are out there in the market that we can build in. Then there's investment going on in platform, which is something that we are building internally to see how we can offer platforms that...
That's the BPO in a box type of thing.
Yes.
Okay, there are several coming on their way, right?
Yes.
Anything
There's one thing that I wanted to talk to you
please.
about data.
Yes,
is that,
please.
GDPR, okay, and
GDPR
privacy.
is a very big thing, yes.
And privacy is
How
important.
many of them were ready for GDPR, by the way?
Oh, quite a few actually. You'll be surprised because now it's a regulation, right? So some of the big brands have been fined just by sending out a blast email campaign.
Yes.
You did not take permission before you blasted somebody with email saying that would you like this? And the fines are very, very heavy. So some are ready, some are not. All I'm saying is privacy is very important, more so today. So some of the tools that we have used in digital marketing may become unavailable if you don't get consent.
Okay.
So if I don't give you specific consent that you can use my browsing data to push advertising or to push products to me, then some business model will become completely defunct.
Obsolete.
Yeah.
Yes.
Today they are not asking for consent. Consent is ticked when it comes.
Okay. There's this whole
They will have to be ticked separately by somebody saying that yes, I give you consent.
There's this whole movement which says that if I give you consent to use my data, you also have to pay me because you're using my data.
Possible.
Would that come
Possible.
by?
It could.
Okay, that's a scary reality. I mean, I know that's a different business model to get.
Yeah, it's a different business model.
It's like a loyalty program for retailers.
And I would also say something. It's also fundamentally different across segment of consumers. There are young people out there who put their lives online. Whatever they're doing, whatever they're eating, the moment that they are, it's all shared. If you tell me they have a privacy concern, I'll be worried. I don't think they have a privacy concern because they are putting it out there. They're putting their lives out there, right? Whereas the other segment of consumers may be really worried. Why are you reading my emails? Why are you pushing things? I was searching for a ticket. Why did you suddenly send me so many ads
different
of
offers,
flights?
yes.
That means, you're invading my privacy. So there's a set of consumers out there. So it's not going to be the same site fits all. The reaction to privacy
is not easy at all by any means.
I cannot call it easy or not easy. I would say it's very exciting.
So it is exciting. It is an opportunity, but the lawyers are definitely getting rich there somewhere, for sure.
GDPR is going to make a lot of lawyers
I agree.
very, very rich.
So let's go to the next question.
Yeah.
Ronak Damani says, which domains are you taking advantage of with your service, with your digital offerings? Will your system help us increase digital technology? Let me get this question straight for you. Will your system help us increase our digital technology marketing business? Okay, basically he's saying by using your technology, will his digital spends get better, and will there be better ROI? That's the second question. So what domains, and by working with you, I think he's a businessman, will his ROI be better in marketing?
See, our core competence is healthcare. Technology, media, telecom, which we call TMT,
yes,
and then the consumer good, okay, which is whether you call it consumer packaged good, whether you call it retail, whether you call it consumer durables. So these are three domains that we are strong in, and we want to stick to our knittings on that particular thing. Insofar as technology is concerned, anything that helps us digitally transform the customer experience, we're interested in that.
So nothing, zero paper. Everything digital, right?
Because interactions move to digital, right? So anything that helps improve the user experience, that improves the customer journey from a point of identifying a need or a want to doing the research that what will satisfy the need or the want, then coming to a point, what are my options available, then going and browsing through, I looked at option A, option B, option C, then I chose option 1, I did look at option 2 and option 3, creates an opportunity for option 2 and option 3. You came and saw, you didn't buy. It is known as shopping cart abandonment.
Yes. Okay.
How do you go back saying that why did you not buy a product? What did you learn from that?
Wow, very interesting.
Yeah.
So if the other question that same person asks is if he was a $10 million business, would you have services for businesses that are smaller? Or do you only focus on businesses that are $100 million and above?
No, so there are different parts of our businesses that attack different consumers, right? So there is a part of a business which is really good for the large guys. Then there are parts of our business that are looking at really the small guys. So our healthcare business typically could also go over a single unit hospital
Okay.
to a hospital chain which is
You
nationwide.
can go to a 50-bed hospital also.
Yes,
Okay. Interesting.
because there are technologies that are available.
So you do these.
But the approach towards the markets
Mm.
are different, right?
Mm.
Something that you can do, which you're approaching the big whale, that's called big whale hunting, right? Your approach is simple. The moment you go mid-market to mass market, your sales cost and other things
up.
goes up a whole lot, right? So it's difficult to play well on both spaces. We have been reasonably successful in the big whale hunting. We're trying to come to the mid-market. I don't know whether you're ready to go to the mass market yet.
Not yet.
Yeah.
Okay. Leadership in terms of sales, very difficult. Sales cycles can be long for startups. When you start selling early days, a typical sales cycle should close between 3 to 6 months for you, or lesser.
No.
Say if you're a smaller company, how fast should it be? Depending on the product or the service that you're providing.
Yeah.
Because
So
most of our guys struggle with sales. They say that we build great product or a platform, but they've not been able to close on sales because they don't know whether the prospect is interested or not. They say we'll meet. There'll be multiple iterations, but then there's no signing of a check. So what would you advise young people to do in terms of sales?
yeah, see that if the idea is good and the product and the platform is really good, the idea, the thing has to be around the core has to be the product quality. It should sell for itself.
Okay.
If it sells for itself, you will find buyers. So the technology that I talked about, which is building management system, right? It's such a cool thing. The idea is so simple, and you make it simple, and you take it, it'll sell for itself. I don't know whether I have a formula of how to make sales happen quickly. I don't have that.
You don't have that?
It is a
Came
grind.
naturally to you?
It is a grind. You have to live through that grind. There are no shortcuts to sales success.
So big people said no to you? Big people in terms of big, larger corporations saying no to you, and you're okay with that?
Of course.
But you go interact with them again.
And that's the difficult thing of sales.
Okay.
The difficult thing of sales is the ability to take rejection on your stride. You're not going to win every time. You probably end up getting to win 10% of the time that you make a pitch. If you move it to 15%, that's doubling up. Though the number may sound small. If you move it to 20, you're golden.
Oh, very interesting. So you got to work towards what? Read a lot. You know the person by heart by seeing what he's done in the past. Is that what you do? You research on?
Yeah, I think LinkedIn is really valuable. If you go to a person or a company and you can figure out who the key influencers are, who your key decision makers are, what have they done, the interaction becomes a little easier.
Okay, final question.
You did not have that information
Got
earlier.
it.
LinkedIn is a
you were limited in. Yes, I would completely agree with that. Final question: if startups have to get to you, or medium-sized companies have to get to you for mentoring or otherwise, how do they reach out to you?
Well, we have a team which is in charge of this whole thing. They can write into us.
What's the email? Does that have an email or?
So our website has our contact details.
Okay.
They can get it or we'll get it.
What's the program called?
We call it.
We'll get back to you. You tell me I can put it on the Facebook page. But there is a program on the website, right?
Yeah.
So go
I
to
don't know
the
whether
website.
it's on the website, so that's a good point. Maybe we have to put it on the website.
So
Accelerator Network, right? Accelerator Network.
it's called an accelerator network. There you have it, guys. We've had a brilliant mind talking to us, and I hope you've learned a lot. And we'll meet you again soon, and hopefully we can have Partha here again in a few months' time talking to you about something else. Thank you.
Thank you, Vishal.
Thank you very much,
Wonderful
sir.
talking to you.
Same here. Thank you.